There it goes.
Hey guys, it's Katie. Today we're going to be doing the book plot judging by covers challenge. This is my best friend Nikki.
Hi.
And we have all the puppies here as well. You'll probably see them throughout the video, but right now you can just see Boo. Okay, so I don't know who first created this. I'll try and find out, but basically I give her a book and she has to tell me what the plot is, and I tell her if she's right or not. And then she'll do the same for me. We're going to start with Scythe by Neil Shuster.
I feel like this book is post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
And has to do with, how do I want to say this without sounding like a complete moron? Like, you know, what genre is Hunger Games?
Dystopian.
Yeah, I feel like this is like a dystopian novel. And I feel that you've told me about this book a lot, and I can't remember anything you told me. Oh.
What do you think it's about? You're not allowed to read the back. No cheating.
I'm not cheating. I feel like this book may be about like a quest of like fighting for survival and like almost like a different type of world. Like the society's just like crumbled and like to dust, basically nothing. And I feel like it just, I want to say it follows like a couple people, but like in the book and like their struggle of, you know, just trying to get through like this world and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for the most part, you're pretty right. Okay.
Okay.
So, this book, if you haven't read it, is about a post-apocalyptic world in a dystopian time period. And it follows two people, technically three, sort of, that are competing to be a scythe. So scythes are basically what rule the world. Everyone has basically, like, they have undercome diseases and illnesses and all that stuff, so nobody dies anymore. The scythe's job is to decide who dies.
Oh, so kind of like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they have to pick, like, they have a quota to reach every year. They can go above it. If they're under it, then I think that they die. I can't remember. And they have to promote someone else to be their, like, heir.
We'll talk about, like, a dramatic firing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah. It's really, really good. Okay, now you do one.
Okay, so this is A Long Road Home by Danielle Steele. Like I said, first adult novel I've read. That wasn't like young adult. I was reading a lot of Twilight before this, so like this was like a huge change for me. One of my OG favorites.
Okay, so there's a door and a letter and a woman with a doll, a kid with a doll. Is it a romantic suspense?
There is romance in it, for sure. You know, oh wait, you can't look at the back. There's nothing there. There is romance in it, but I don't know. I don't think suspense would really.
It just looks like a thriller.
But it's Danielle Steele.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna say it's kind of like a Nicholas Sparks book. Where, is it a second chance romance?
No.
No. It's in the military?
No.
No.
The other book that I wanted to bring that I didn't have a copy of, though, was...
You know, we could also probably add a Nicholas Sparks book.
We probably could.
They're all behind you. Have you read any of those?
Nope.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
They're basically the same.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. This one, like, literally gives me nothing. They're on a journey. Home. Perfect. Done.
Well, no, I don't feel so bad. Okay. So this book
Lucky stuff.
is heartbreaking. It follows a young girl who is abused by her mother, and her father like leaves home because he couldn't get along with the wife. And like, I was crying like first 10 pages into this book, and like solid crying throughout. So it follows her entire life, like into adulthood, and how she'll get into relationships and they end up being toxic. At one part, she's a nun and she falls in love with a minister, and then they get pregnant and he like commits suicide because it was like a shame to what he did for his career and stuff like that. And she was kicked out of the convent for it. And you know, every time she would meet someone and things would get better, something would happen, something traumatic would happen. You think she falls in love and you think she's healthy and you think she's happy, and then it's just like heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking.
I would not have guessed that.
There is a happy ending though. There is a happy ending for her.
If you don't get this right, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
But we're friends.
The Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. You better know.
Okay. So I believe when we were picking out the books, you said this was the movie copy.
The movie edition, yeah.
The book is still the same though, and
Yeah.
and there's just with the movie.
Yeah. I have 3 copies of this book.
Okay, so
And the 10th year, the original, and the movie.
she doesn't like this book at all.
Not
at all.
Not at all.
Okay. You know, like part of me just wants to get it like royally wrong just to get a reaction out of you. Okay, so there's this academy.
Yep.
And there's vampires in it.
Yep.
Now, I believe the main character, she's not a vampire. And it was something about...
She's a half vampire.
Yeah. And there was something... I think I may be mixing this up with blood rights, but like feeding off of... Oh, god damn it. You put so much pressure on me.
Sorry.
I don't know what to do. It's a romance, but it's a young adult romance as well too.
Yeah.
And the movie was completely different than the book as well too,
Yeah.
which made you want to flip a table, if you will.
I'd say it's more between young adult and new adult.
Okay, because they seem like they're in like a college, like almost college.
They are in high school, but like the content
is more new adult
later on in the series. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because that means the book grows with the reader as well too.
Yeah.
I really like series like that can grow with the reader. I can't remember the main plot line because I know you didn't want to.
Who's the romance?
Dimitri.
You don't know that. Yes, you do. Okay.
Dimitri and I can't remember the girl's name. Rose. And then you didn't like the other. Like you liked the other two romances. There's a fine here. Yeah, it's on you now.
Oh well.
I know you didn't like the other romance in it that follows bloodlines, right?
Yeah.
It's not that you hated the other romance, but you love Rose and Dimitri the best.
Yeah.
Okay, but I know that you didn't want to give too much of the plot line to me either, because because you wanted me to read the series with you, which we should be reading in February. So January. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, that's what I'm saying about that.
Okay, so yeah.
Are you only a little disappointed in me?
No, you got most of it right. You got most of it right.
Okay.
Okay, so this book follows 3 types of vampires. So there's the Moroi, which is what Lisa is. She is full-blown vampire. She can also control elements. It's kind of like House of Night in that sense, but you didn't read that, so. And then Rose, who's her, she is called a Damper, or a Dampier. I can never say that word. And she is half human, half Moroi. So her job is to be the bodyguard for the Moroi. And then there's the Strigoi, which are the evil vampires, which is basically the stereotypical vampire. They want to kill everybody, whatnot. To me, this is where people go off. For me, this book is a romance series between a teacher and a student. That's what I focus on. Other people focus on the fact that it's a bond between best friends. There is, to me, that is the subcategory of the story, and they focused way too much about that on the movie.
This is Kelly Armstrong's Omens.
Okay. Horror.
I don't think so. I think it would be more under like a fantasy, suspense, or supernatural almost, but not. And you just.
Is it like the Vampire Diaries? That's Damon.
No. Actually, I think there is a Damon in it.
Lucky, stop it.
He's just interested. Anyways.
Okay. Is someone possessed?
No.
Is it a small town?
Yes.
Okay. It's about demons?
Not really.
Ghosts.
There's definitely ghosts.
There's ghosts. Okay. Maybe the small town is haunted by ghosts, and the living people are trying to fix it, and the ghosts can possess the crows. That's all I got. Making up stories now.
Not bad. Okay. So I actually found this book series a couple years ago. I ended up falling in love with it, and I binge read the entire series until like the last book hadn't come out yet. So I had to wait 6 months for the last book after like reading these in a day sort of deal. So it follows this character named Olivia, and she is really big on like superstitions and stuff. Like the pillowcase needs to face outwards to the bed, otherwise nightmares get trapped in. Like, you know, when you see a group of crows, like 1 for murder, 2 for mirth, blah, 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 blah. So she's really big on these things, and she doesn't understand why. And her boyfriend is like this high society guy, and he ends up like just like getting rid of her and like doesn't want anything to do with her. So she is left with nowhere to go, and she ends up in this small town called Canesville. Now, I don't want to actually spoil any of it for anyone who is interested in reading it, and I highly suggest it. But the basis of it is that the main character is actually reliving, like, is a reincarnation throughout like centuries, like back to the days of like princesses and stuff, and she has to choose between 2 loves, and it is a romance in it, and it does heavily focus on that too, that she has like this such a strong connection with these people. There are ghosts, there's fairies, there's necromancers, like, and it's the whole world of supernatural, but it's not corny either.
And no
like,
vampires.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's really good. So, really good series, and I don't know, Kelly Armstrong's one of my favorite authors as well. And, you know, there's some crazy crap in this book, so, in this series, so highly suggested. But yeah, and she's also adopted. That's also kind of a big one, and her real parents may or may not be serial killers. So, there you go.
Well then, I want to do the Hazelwood, but I can't fully remember the premise.
Okay.
It's like a really twisted story.
Why are you telling me this? I'm supposed to judge it.
I know, but I don't know how I would. We'll do Cinder by Marissa Meyer.
My daughter is actually into this book right now.
Is she reading it again?
She keeps trying to read it, but she has a hard time concentrating. She's reading a series of unfortunate events right now.
Well, I mean, she is 9, and I think it's a little more
advanced for her age, but she's really smart too.
She is smart.
Anyways, steampunk Cinderella. That's like what I like Cinderella if it was based in the future after society like kind of crumbles, like a really hardcore awesome Cinderella that is not just a princess, but is here to kick ass and take names.
Okay, but don't focus on just, it's a series. Cress, Scarlet.
So like Snow White, Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and Cinderella.
Yep.
Ugh. And you know, I'm just kicking myself because I haven't read it yet.
And yet I've bought you both copies that you own.
Well, in all fairness, my daughter stole one of them and I can't find it anywhere.
Again?
Yeah. No, I have the recent one that you bought me. Are they like modified like in these books? Like
She is.
She is? So is it like a different like situation for each one that they're just like kind of like a warped fairy tale, but in a really cool way, not like super dark like the original Grimm's fairy tales are, but like in a warped like new age, you know, Disney princesses. So that's kind of what I'm getting from it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So in this particular book, Cinder is obviously Cinderella, but her name is just Cinder. She also, so this book series takes place in Beijing, New Beijing, I think it is, after a plague has come about. Now everyone is dying, and the first kind of sense for the plague is like blue spots on your skin that start appearing, and then the second stage you get really, really sick, and then you die a couple days later. So it's a very drastic plague. She is a cyborg, and cyborgs are frowned upon. They're like lower than low. Like, she's also a mechanic, and so obviously she has a stepmother, because it follows the basic premise of Cinderella. So she has a stepmother and two evil stepsisters. I can't tell you what happens because that would ruin it, but she does end up meeting the prince just like she would in Cinderella, but it goes into a bigger story. There is aliens involved, and yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mighty Man. Books are not pillows.
But they're so comfy.
There you go. You can have one more pillow. Okay, this is the last one we'll do for this one.
Okay. And this is a special edition copy. This is The Painted Man, but in Canada it's actually called The Warded Man by Peter V. Brett. The reason why this one's Painted Man is because it's a special edition that they just released last year. Here's the original one. One of the cheapest books that you can actually find out there. Like, I mean, for the cost of books, but this one I got special edition for my birthday last year, and just to make sure that it followed like all of like across the world, like what they're allowed to be putting on like the front of their books and covers and stuff like that. They did Painted Man instead of Warded Man, but and God. She Knows is one of my favorite book series. Like, obsessed.
Okay. There's like nothing on here.
Okay, well, I will allow you to look at both of them.
I think you remember telling me that he's an assassin type person. No.
No.
I like forget what books are about like the second. I know that there's a romance in it.
Yes, there's quite a bit of romance. No, there's, I mean, like throughout the entire, I think it's 6 books.
Each book follows a different person.
Each book, you tell me. Yes, it follows multiple people. It starts off with 3, but it, like, by the end of the series, I think you're following 8 or 9.
That's a lot of people.
It works though.
Okay. Huh. Not an assassin.
Definitely not as an assassin.
Okay. Doesn't he have to like hunt people though?
No.
No.
He does hunt something. later in like the first book when he's an adult.
Oh yeah, because it's like a past and present.
Yeah, it starts. Yeah, no, it starts when they're, I think, 10 years old. By the end of the series, I think they're 30. I know, and there should be a lot of pressure on you for this one.
But I talk more about Vampire Academy than you talk about this one.
I can change
we
that.
We talked about it like once.
Apparently I need to talk about my favorite book more.
Okay. Not an assassin. He's hunting something. It's a fantasy, right?
Yes, definitely. It's like a fantasy that I feel like could actually happen in real life, though. Like, and I'll explain the book when you give up.
Fun fact, this is actually her old book.
Yeah. I gave her all of the books that I had and rebought them all in hardcover.
She owns all Vampire Academy too.
I do, yeah.
And some of Bloodlines. But I don't really care about that one. It just looks like a horror.
I mean, it can be a little bit scary. In a way, like
it just reminds me of like the Wicker Man.
Right over my head, never.
With Nicholas Sparks, where he like goes to an island, and then there's like a bunch of these people that are like plotting shit, and he's trying to figure out what's happening, and then they end up burning him in like this giant Wicker Man.
It's
very
definitely
twisted.
not like
I think
that.
you would like it.
Probably.
So that's just what it looks like to me.
That's okay. That is okay. That was the whole point of this.
I know.
Not to actually get it right, but apparently I haven't talked about this book enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna hold up this one because it's my favorite.
Okay.
All right. So the Warded Man is the book series starts off with following 3 children, Arlen, Leisha, and Roger. All have different life stories and stuff like that. My favorite character through this entire book, though, is a mix between Arlen and Roger. Now, Roger just, my heart. But, so this book is taking place in the future, but essentially what happened is that demons, or in the book they call them corlings, have come back from like the center of the earth and has destroyed civilization back into, and the best way I can describe it is days of yore. So the people are living in like older houses. They have like, they kind of talk in like old English and stuff like that. Like it's dirt roads, horses, carts, like pioneer days basically. So these demons, they come out at night, or the corlings come out at night, and the way that people protect themselves is by warding their houses up. And you have to do it perfectly, otherwise the demons can get through and all of that stuff. So, and like, I honestly could talk about this book nonstop and not give a whole lot away, but basically there is a demon attack, and Arlen's mom is murdered by a corling, and as he's hiding under like this bathtub and he can't get out to help his mom, he watches his dad, who's on the front porch protected by the wards, not willing to go out and rescue his wife while she's getting like mauled to death by these corlings. So he loses like all this respect for his father. Like he like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. You're a piece of crap. Like, how could, you're not a real man kind of deal, and I have no respect for you. And he ends up running away, and he meets this messenger who came through town, and messengers are the ones who deliver messages and goods from town to town, because they know how to set up wards when they're out camping and stuff like that. Anyways, so this whole book series is basically about, you know, these people fighting against like the demons and stuff like that, but at first they can only protect themselves, And then they eventually find what they called the fighting wards, which Arlen, and this is probably where you got the assassin thing from, Arlen ends up like tattooing the fighting words on his skin with the quarreling blood, so it stays in his skin, and like fights these demons to death and stuff like that. Now there's so much drama in this book, and the writer is so phenomenal. He'll make you hate a character, and then they'll tell his story, like that character story that you hate, and you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's all right then. I get that, why they're that like that. Now, the one major favorite thing about this book that I like is its view on religion. Now, it goes on Thesan and Corasian, is what the religions are called in the book, but they resemble a lot of like Islamic and Christianity in like our time, and how like religion can like cause a lot of fighting and stuff like that, when a lot of the actual lessons themselves are very similar. But if one story is taught one way and one story is taught another way, it can cause like friction. So it just blew my mind on like the actual viewing of society and religion and all of that. So fantastic book, highly suggested. Amazing.
Okay, so that was the Judge a Book by Its Cover challenge. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.